Hey there guys, welcome back to another episode of our combat system tutorial series. In this episode today we're going to work on building our sphere traces as well as our hit detection traces. Alright, this should be a pretty easy video for you guys. It's going to be a little bit shorter than our last one, but yeah, let's get right into it. To start off, I do want to show you guys how to build upon this component melee system that we've built so far. Let's say you wanted to add another attack. If you wanted to add another attack, what you would do first is add another pin to our switch on interval here. All right, and you would make another custom event, like custom event attack 3. All right, you would call that in your new pin, which I'm not going to do this part right now, but you would call this into your new pin. It would be added to your switch on interval. And what you would then do is copy paste this with attack 3 as the new custom event start. Select a new montage to play. And then make sure that when you're doing your attack counts here at the end, you move all these numbers up 1. So this one would still be 1, but your second one would be 2, and your third one would be 0. 0 will send us back to the front of the combo system. All right, now that I've gone over that, we're going to start making our sphere traces. So our sphere traces are going to be what handles possible hit events with our attacks. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of organization first here. We're going to highlight all of this just by left clicking and dragging. We're going to comment name this our input or attack input. Move this up. All right, and then here we're going to comment this out. This will be our combo logic. All right, over here, this can be our call attack or attack events. We'll move that right here next to it. And our next section here is going to be our attack traces. Now, to start by making these attack traces, we're going to want to make a few custom events. So let's see what our first attack is. Our first attack is our punch, and our second attack is a kick. So we're going to need two different types of traces. We're going to need punch traces and kick traces. So we're going to make a new custom event. We're going to start off by doing our punches, and we'll name this one punch trace. All right, and then we will make it so that when this trace plays, it only plays for a time that's pretty much determined by our BP notifies. But we're going to do a set timer by event. All right, and then we are going to set a new variable here off this return value. We can promote this to variable, and we'll just name this punch trace loop. That should be good. And then we're going to drag down from the event tab into custom event, and we can name this punch trace loop. Sorry about that. Punch trace. I kind of named these two similar, but punch trace looper, that's fine. And you're going to want to set a time here. And we want this to be very small. So you could do like 0.01, 0.1, 0.001. Doesn't really matter, just find one that works for you. And make sure that you enable looping. Now, we are going to call that when this punch trace is activated, it's going to set a timer. Once this timer runs out, it's going to play the punch trace looper, which we then want to activate a sphere trace. Sphere traces essentially look for a detection within a radius. All right, so we're going to do sphere trace by channel, specifically for this tutorial. And we are going to start off, let's go ahead and just put this radius at 100. And put your debug to 4 duration. All right. And now we have a start and an end section here. All right. Now, for this, you can use different parts of the BP third person character. Um, for us specifically, I like to make it so they're actually linked to the body parts that are exactly being thrown so we can have cleaner detection. So for that, let's see what abilities or what hands start. So we start with our left, left, right, left, right, left, right. So what we're going to do is we're going to add 2 arrows to our character here. And these arrows are essentially going to allow us to play a sphere trace off of their location. And we want those to be attached to a socket so that as the character moves in an animation, those arrows move as well. So as each punch comes forward, it will release a sphere trace right at the front of the punch. So to do this, you're going to click on the mesh for your character, click add, and we're going to use an arrow. You can use a few different things for this. Really, you can do any kind of you can do any mesh at all, as long as you make sure that it does not have collision. So if you want to do this with static meshes, you can. But we're going to, now that we have our hand underscore R, make sure you have it selected, and you're going to want to set a parent socket. If you're not able to select this, that means that you haven't put it under the mesh component. So make sure that you drag and drop it so it is a child of the mesh. Okay? Come over here to the parent socket, and we're just going to, well, first we actually have to create the socket. Sorry about that. Click on the BP third person character, click on the Quinn simple or Mani simple, whatever one you're using, and we're going to look for our hand underscore R. We're going to click on hand underscore R, click add, and add a socket. Now we're going to do the same thing for our leg, or sorry, for our hand left. We're also going to do the same thing for our legs though. We're going to add this on our hand left, and now we will do our foot underscore left. Okay, so these already have a socket, so that's great. So we'll go ahead. Now that we have these sockets made, we'll come back to our BP third person character. We will click on hand underscore R, and we will attach this to the hand underscore R socket. Now, we don't want it to be angled in this way. I usually will rotate it so it's pointing in the same direction that the hands are pointed in. You can kind of mess with this however you want, just so you like how it's sitting, and can adjust its positions a little bit more. There we go. All right, now we need to make one for our left hand. So it's as simple as making another arrow, naming it hand underscore L. I like to keep the names clean here, just so when later, if you're trying to debug your system, you can find the exact components that you're tracing from. All right, so hand L, we'll come over here to select a different socket, and we will do hand underscore L socket. All right, this one went right to where we wanted it, and that's good. We're going to go ahead and just get the hands one, or the hand traces working first, and then we will do our foot traces after. All right, go back to our component melee here, and now we are going to get player character. So drag this out from your variables here. We made this in our last episode. We're going to get player character, and then get hand underscore L. Get hand L. There we go. And then we're going to get hand R. There we go. All right. So if I remember correctly, we start with the left hand. So we're going to connect these to our start and end, but you're going to see that it says the arrow component object reference is not compatible with vector. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag off from hand underscore L. We're going to get world location, transformation tab, and it should say target is a scene component. You're going to drag this into the return value here, and or drag it from the return value into the start position. We can copy and paste this, do the same thing with hand R, but to the end. All right. Now, our sphere trace will essentially, when punch trace is called, it'll set a timer. After that timer is done, we will then play a trace starting with our left hand and ending with our right. All right. Now, what we're going to do is from right here, we don't really have to do too much more just to get this operational, just to check the traces. So let's go ahead and actually compile and save here. And let's go ahead and make our notify track. Our notify track is what's going to call this punch trace function, or event, sorry, and make it so this sphere trace occurs. So to do this, you can just put this under the components tab if you'd like. Just make a new folder, name it sphere traces. All right. And in here, we're going to right click, add a blueprint class. Here, we're going to type in notify. Now, there's going to be a few options here. The only one that we need right now is the anim notify. So click this top anim notify and click select. We can name this our BP notify punch trace. All right. Now we'll open this up, and we'll be greeted by this blank blueprint. If you open it up and you don't see the compiler results tab here in the middle, you probably have a little blue text bar right here that says View Full Blueprint. Go ahead and click on that. Then you should get to this menu. Now, we're going to come over here to the functions on the left side, click the override dropdown, and click Received Notify. All right, and we are going to now disconnect this return node and drag this a little ways over. So what this is doing is we're going to make an event. So when we use this anim notify function within an animation, it will play this punch trace. All right, so we're going to call the punch trace function in here. But in order to call in the punch trace function, we need to cast to our character. So we're going to cast to BP third person character. We're going to drag from the mesh component get owner. Make sure that your get owner is target is actor component, not target is actor. Target is actor component. That's what we want. Drag the return value into the object for the cast. And now we're going to drag off of cast to, we're going to cast off of here and do punch trace from component melee. All right, and we'll have this new target here, component melee, and we'll just plug BP third person character into component melee. And then we will go ahead and attach this to the return node. And you can compile and save. For notify end, we are going to just copy and paste this and rename it to notify end. All right. And now we have our notify track done. What we're going to do now is we're going to go into our components actually it's in our animations folder. Go to our animations folder, go to our punch combo, animation montage, and now we can actually add in this anim notify. So we're going to find the first time where the punch is sent out, because we want this anim notify to play the second that we punch. So right here, we're going to add in a notify track, which you can do by going to the area where notify is, and then go out to where your timer is set, but staying within the highlighted section of the notifies. You can right click, add notify, BP punch trace. All right, so we have our punch traces right here, and one more right there. So boom, boom, So we can add in another trace here. Go ahead, add in a notify track. Go ahead and add in a punch trace. We can trim these later. For right now, we're just going to get them on here. Punch trace, and punch trace. Go about right here. All right, and right here. Okay, now we can go ahead and save this. So now the punch traces are going to be called. Now we can come back to our third person map here and see if we actually get any of these to cast. So we can see that we are casting. However, they are kind of ridiculous. They're a little bit big. So the way that we want to stop this from continuing to essentially like infinitely trace is we want to implement a stop punch trace function. So to do this, we can just come down here, make a custom event, and name this stop punch traces. We are going to then clear and invalidate timer by handle, and then we're just going to use our punch trace loop right here. Now we don't want to clear this or clear our traces until we have collisions. So what we're going to do is knock out a break hit result. Or sorry, I should say we don't want to clear this until we've sent out our hit results. So we're going to do break hit result and then a branch. Connect our return value to branch condition. And then for if nothing is hit by this, we will stop punch traces. And if something is hit by this, we will feed this into another branch. And there's a few ways to build this branch. What we can do for later, just kind of looking ahead here for when we add in an AI, we can do our hit actor. Actor has tag. This will make it so that we will only apply damage to somebody with a specific tag. We'll just name it enemy. That's the tag we'll use in the future. And we'll attach this return value to our branch. So now, if the hit actor has tag enemy, then we will first throw in a do once here because we're going to use this later. Completed apply damage. So if the enemy we hit if the actor we hit has the tag enemy, we will apply damage to the actor. Now, if it doesn't hit an enemy, then we will stop punch traces. All right. And now we're going to do apply damage to our hit actor. We'll plug this into the damaged actor. Make this a little bit nicer here. And then our damage, we'll just throw in 10 for now. We're going to be doing this in our next episode where we'll actually look at applying damage to a target. For right now, we're just going to work ahead and get this system fully fleshed out so that way when we have an AI or a dummy enemy to test this on, we are able to. All right. And then now at the end, we will do print string damaged. All right. So for our next episode, we will actually get into all of the little things here with our apply damage node. For now, though, what we're going to do is after we apply damage to something, we're going to stop our punch trace. And then we can feed this back into the reset on the do once. All right. So essentially, as each punch hits, it's going to apply damage and reset so that the next punch can apply. This is going to be running really fast, but this will allow it so that way every single punch has the ability to apply damage. So this punch, or this ability has multiple traces. This is going to make it so that you do damage multiple times to the enemy. So boom, boom, boom. And if you want to adjust the locations of your traces, you can do that by adjusting the arrows that we had and then also increasing or decreasing their radiuses. All right, we'll go ahead and do our kick traces here pretty quickly, just that way we can get through for this video. We're going to go back to content, back to components, back to sphere traces, add in a new blueprint class, which actually what we can do here is copy our punch trace and paste it. We're going to rename this to our BP notify underscore kick trace. Open this up. Go to received notify here. We don't want to use punch trace for either of these. Now what we're going to do is use a kick trace. So let's go to our third person character, quickly add in some more arrows. So go ahead and add in 2 more arrows. You can do foot underscore L. Make sure that these are direct childs of the mesh. And foot underscore R. Add arrow. Foot underscore R. All right. So now these ones we can attach to a socket. Foot R socket and foot L socket. All right. this foot L one is very interesting. So when we're applying these to our feet, we're going to want to think about how our kick is essentially playing in the animation, right? We want to have these arrows positioned in a way that they will play and be able to actually hit something. We want them to be facing the right direction. All right. Go ahead. Put it right there. That should be good. So I like to usually have them sticking straight out of the bottom of the feet. This is how I've done it in my game project as well. I find this to be the most effective. Fix our rotation here a little bit. And that looks pretty good. All right, go ahead and compile and save. Go back to our component melee. We're going to essentially copy and paste all of this, but first we're gonna make this look a little bit nicer. Gonna comment all this out. This is our punch attack trace. Okay. Now we're going to copy and paste this and change around a few event names. So this custom event here is going to be our kick trace. This is going to be our kick trace looper. And then this will be, doesn't like this, we'll just add them in entirely new, kick trace. And kick trace looper. Attach the event node, attach to sphere trace. We're going to come over here. We're going to make a new variable. We're going to name this one our kick trace loop. So you can make this variable just by dragging right out of the return value, this little blue section here. This will make it so it is the timer handle variable class, and that's what we want. Make sure looping is enabled still. Make sure you have a time here. And now we're going to change these from hand to what's it called? Feet. So get foot L. Attach this to our start and get foot right. I believe this is the order the kicks go into. We can adjust this if not. Okay, down here we're going to call in the custom event again of stopping the kick trace. Stop kick traces and clear and invalidate this. Come up here to our stop punch traces, replace this with stop kick traces. Make sure we have this plugged into both falses, and we will put this in here as well, replace that punch trace. And now this is set up for the kicks. All right, so go ahead and comment this out. Kick, attack, trace. All right, compile and save. Now we can go back to our kick trace and we can add in our, what's it called? Go ahead and delete this as well here. It'll give us a new one. Drag off of here and we will call our kick trace component melee function or event, sorry. And we will attach the as BP third person character to the target because the character is the target for this, and return the node. Compile, save, and now we'll come back to this one and do the same thing. We will call in our kick trace function and connect this here to the return node. All right. Now it is worth noting here, if you are using a attack that only, let's say it's a sword strike and slices once, okay? If you are using an attack like that, you are going to want to actually utilize your punch or kick trace end here, or your sword trace end, or whatever it might be. You could still do it this way, but it's a little less optimal. All right. Enough of that. Let's go to our third person map here and give it a try. Our punches trace and our kicks do not. What is the problem here? Oh, I know. We forgot to apply the traces to our animation. Let's go to our animations folder, go to our animation montage for the kick, and now we can add in our traces. All right, so I was right. Left kick kicks first here. Add notified track. Kind of want this to start on the bend of the leg. Yep, there we go. Let's see what the next kick is. Boom. Add notify kick trace. Same thing. We want it to kind of start as the foot's coming around to snap. Bam. All right. Save that. Go back to our map. And there we go. Now we're getting our punch and our kick traces, but we need to make sure that we're calling the actual end of this trace here, which, let's see, stop kick traces. Oh, right down here. Replace this with kick trace loop. Small little mistake. Let's see if this works now. There we go. Now we're getting a kick trace on each of our kicks. And like I said, you can adjust your trace hitboxes by moving around those arrows and changing when they are shot out of your attack. I hope this video was helpful for you guys. This concludes the second part of the attack system tutorial. Like I said in my other videos, I'm essentially making these tutorials as I go and as I learn things and implement them into my own projects, so that way I can share with you guys the things that I find along the way, especially with the newer versions of Unreal Engine. If you guys have any problems or any questions, feel free to leave me a comment down below and I will do my best to help you out. And my next video will actually be a devlog, most likely, on the progress of my very first Steam game. All right, I hope this video is helpful, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.